What up, everybody? Duck here. Welcome to the stream. It's getting a little dialed in here. How we doing on audio? Do you guys have any background ambiance or not? And how is the voice to music ratio? Anyways, we will move on here. Sweet. Okay, so Bitcoin, right? What's the deal? I mean, so far, nothing overall has really changed, okay? We have low time frame price action, sure, but aside from that, it's pretty much just still ranging sideways, right? In this eternal sideways chop, okay? So if we zoom in a bit here, you can see starting from the June 22nd low, right? We take this June 22nd low here. Super sensitive mouse. Okay. And we move that over and we take the June 26th low, okay? What we're working on right now would ideally be a third consecutive higher low type scenario, okay? So can we say it was this one? Possibly, but that's more of a B wave in the grand scheme of things. That really isn't the higher low ever. It's always the D, okay? Yeah, sometimes it's a lower low. You have Ds that look like this. And can this end up looking like this? It'd be a 1272 first if it did. It'd be a butterfly right here. Fade everything. And then it could go all the way to a crab, 116 or 1618. But again, until we break this 786, until we lose this 786, we don't have to worry about stuff like that, okay? What we're going to be looking for is getting to this 786 area and having the divergence, okay? If there's no divergence and we still show bearish on the oscillators, is it possible that you can sweep all this? Of course, but like that would be bad. We don't really want to do it because overall that kind of confirms, you know, bearish trend continuation here. That would confirm like another leg down, okay? So we really don't want to see that. So ideally, when we get to the completion of this Gartley, and that's what we're looking at here, is a bullish Gartley, X, A, B, C, D. Again, why did we why were we so not adamant but focused on this for the longest time here is due to the fact that we got this like perfect 618 retracement on the B, okay? And what is that B? That B is simply fibbing from the X low anchor point up to the A, and you see this teal, green teal type line. That's the 618. It was 32,621, okay? We're at it again. We're sitting on the 618 right now, all right? But that was a significant B anchor point in, that was a significant anchor point in the grand scheme of things when you're considering and talking about a Gartley, okay? The 0.618 B anchor point is like the cornerstone of the Gartley. Okay, let me lower the music a bit. Sorry, just doing that. Okay. Okay, so back to what I was just saying. Cornerstone of the Gartley. Had to take a little drink there. Cornerstone of the Gartley, 618. That being said, you run up anywhere between the 382 and the 886. You fell just below the 886. You have a valid C anchor point. So B is valid. C is valid. A was just an initial impulse. B is valid. C is valid. That means D would be looking for the 786, okay? So right here, 786. 786 on D is fibbing from the X low all the way up to the A high, and you see the blue line here overlaps the blue line we have already plotted, sits right on top of the 786. Watch, I'll delete it. See our line's still there? I'll go back. See the 786 appear right on top of our line? Delete it, it's gone. Okay, see 31,500. It's like 31,550, whatever you want to call it. All right, that area here, again, it's the decompletion zone of the Gartley, okay? And what's critical in that statement is zone, all right? Zone being an area, not a specific price, okay? It's a zone. You want to be layered in the zone, okay? This thing, if it dumps down in here, it's gonna wick around real nasty like, and who knows, you know, where exactly this is gonna fall. Just don't get liquidated from where we are to here and back, okay? Because as long as we don't lose this massive range, right, which basically is 30,000, we don't want to lose 30, right? As long as we don't, and we're not talking about 30, we're talking about 31,550. Has nothing to do with 30, right? 30 is good. That's $1,500 away. We're fine. Cowboy, yeah, I mean, that might happen. I'm not too sure. No, to be honest, like, just extreme exhaustion, dude. I attempted to take, I think, a small nap, and that was it. It was over. Jet lag like a motherfucker. Just saw your comment. All right, 31,550. 31,550. Okay, that's like the critical, like, anchor that number into your mind. And again, don't put so much emphasis on it, even though I'm gonna write it down, okay? Don't put everything there unless you're fine with that. But the problem is if it doesn't get it, and say it front runs it, and all you get is 31.6, and then it reverses, you never get your fill, right? So you don't want to miss your fill, right? You want to make sure you get filled. That's why you're going to, instead of just layering all of your bid at one price, you're going to, setting your bid at one price, you're going to layer your bid within an area, right? And you can have some resting bids sitting a little below it, right? It's not going to hurt. As long as you're not over leveraged and over positioned, you know, this is how you enter, okay? We're entering at a strategic area here, something we've been watching for quite some time, right? So no need to get scared now, right? Again, look, stop loss down here below 30K, right? You don't want to lose that 30, right? We've talked about that. And again, how would you lose it? Really, you don't even want to see a wick down there, but it's not that you shouldn't really be afraid of a wick. Again, you're probably not going to see it, but you're more afraid of this, okay? The resistance back testing of it and the selling off. This right here is the red flag. It's not really this, okay? Does that make sense? It's not really this that scares you, okay? Because sometimes this just dips in there and it's gone. It's when it stays below it and it back tests it as resistance, okay? And then it follows through to the downside. That is when you're like, oh my gosh, what is happening here, okay? You don't want to see that kind of stuff, okay? Excuse me. Make sense? All right, so moving along, we're looking to fill in this area, 31,550, of course. And if we get the fill, we basically want it to look like a double bottom here, right? We want to regard this, the 786 fib retracement, 31,550 square up, yeah, from back here. we want to regard it as support, okay? So some kind of drop into that zone, climb out of it, and paint another kind of double bottom here. It could be, again, there's three double bottoms. It could be the slightly higher low, the equal lows, or the slightly lower low. Again, this is the one we prefer to see, the slightly higher low, right? Where where you start to paint this like structure off of it. Okay. And then you bounce up, right? You rally back up, and at that point, that's where you get that neckline, right? You paint that neckline, and this is where we look to then, get our first breakout, our first back test of what was now the bottom, and this is where we continue. Okay, this is the structure we want to see develop inside of the completion zone of this Gartley. Okay, it's going to be like really, really nice to see that. Again, can you have the slightly lower low? Sure. Okay, it would make, sorry, let me just move the Gartley. It would make it look like, gosh, I cannot grab the one I want to grab. It would make it look just like this, okay? So instead of hitting right here, you would get the slightly lower low, and then you would rally, okay? The Gartley would basically remain we're not going to move it, okay? I'm just telling you that it can do something like that, and it's still just going to be, that's why I said you can have a few bids below it. That's why the box is below it, okay? Otherwise our box would be right at it or above it, right? But instead we actually dropped it a bit below, just to capture that slightly lower low if you get it that way. All right, either way, none of that would be a problem. All right, so just any of that on your radar is all fine. Okay, all fine. If we get it, what happens next? Right, what happens next? So we are obviously in this massive range. Okay, this eternal sideways price action. Okay, so first step first, this is painting another massive higher low than this previous one, right? So if we were to back this out to like the daily, this is going to start to look like a big inverse head and shoulders to an extent, with the neckline being the midpoint of the range, what you see here in yellow, right? So ideally this first sweep out is going to test, it's going to test this neckline area, right? Midpoint of the range. And that is 35,550. So you're going to go from 31,550 to 35,550, basically. I mean, if you get the price action that we're seeking here, okay? So that would look like this, okay? So initial, not necessarily target, right? We don't really want to sell there. It's just the next area that we have to regard, right? It's just the local overhead resistance that we have to get through, okay? So you're gonna rally up, maybe get resistance there, a partial decline. This right here is where you paint the hidden bullish divergence, okay? So from here to here, you would now paint again hidden bullish divergence, all right? And that's where you would paint a higher low again, and then rally. And this time you back test it, right? And then eventually make your way to the range high. The range high being, this C target up here of this large harmonic, big shark. That is basically 41,000, okay? So you'd be looking for a 41,000 back test. And that being said, like, look at this shark. Comes up here, hits the 50, gets you these retracements like this. Like textbook shark type price action. Now you paint the Gartley. Now you have the reversal. The shark morphs into the 5-0, gives you the Gartley, right? Sets you up for it. So, all right. Fill your longs, 31,550. I mean, we're already at 32,5. We're already almost there. Like, to even start layering now, I'm not saying to do it. It just would it be the worst idea? Not necessarily though. Like it's not a spot, 2x, 3x type trader. You just layer in over the next $1,000 and just dollar cost average yourself in. Dollar cost averaging is not a strategy until you've entered a completion area of your pattern, right? You don't just dollar cost average forever. You strategically dollar cost average, okay? So this would be strategically building your position for a long for this next long haul rally to the upside, okay? Let me show you. Hold on, let's finish this real quick. Okay, so we get the 35,550 back test, then we go to the top of the range, 41, okay? And then at that point, we'd be looking to break out of this range, okay? At some point, this range is going to come to an end, okay? So instead of failing there, we would more than likely, okay, picture this big range, it's just we're zoomed in right now, okay? We would break out of this, okay? And we would just chop right there on it. We would just chop on it. And then we would just send again, okay? It's gonna end up kind of looking like that, right? A lot of people are going to short this, and we're not necessarily longing resistance. I'm not saying that. We're longing the bottom of the range. Our position is going to be printing by the time we're here. All I'm saying is we're gonna still be looking for higher prices, okay? We're still going to be bullish at that point, all right? Unless we see some very, very obvious bearish divergence, but I feel like we're probably gonna see that down here somewhere where we paint the hidden, and then we'll probably already see it. It's just gonna play out it plays out that way. It's interesting, okay? Just keep an eye on this, all right? Keep an eye on this. All right, so you break out at the top, okay? You back test in regard to the top of the C anchor point, okay? And at this point, we're now talking about like golden retrace stuff from the all-time high, okay? So now we back out, all right? And we're going to fib from the all-time high on April 14th to the low. And you can see that we've entered the golden zone, all right? So you see how like even that isn't it. Like you just keep printing. People just in disbelief right here. This just keeps printing. All right, and you find yourself at the 618, right? At that 618, which is 50,000. Now you have a pretty psychological round number. You sell off again, okay? And again, though, you still paint these higher lows, right? These consecutive just higher lows, right? And this still will probably rally again, okay? And still shock the world, right? Continue to just melt faces as you paint the deep retrace. Again, this isn't moon boy shit, okay? This is stuff that we see happen on assets time and time again. We find ourselves a support, we accumulate a position, the market maker's getting his, okay? Market maker's getting his, all right? Then what happens? You just get this massive just pump. And every time people try to fade it, you just keep getting destroyed to the upside. That's just liquidity just continuing to find its way in, right? So it's crazy. Like, I don't know. Let's just see how this goes, right? Nobody really knows like exactly what's going to happen here, but ideally this is what we're looking for, okay? So keep this in mind. Again, this is where we talk about that like parabolic, okay? Like price is gonna go freaking parabolic here, all right? You're gonna start painting this parabola of price action pumpage, all right? And way up here, back from you know, May 11th, right? Back from May 11th, you had a big old square up, right? So find yourself at the square up from May 11th, and, you know, good things can happen up there, right? Good things can happen. Will the exchanges try to square this up? Absolutely. Absolutely. Do they have a square up down below? Absolutely as well, right? I mean, they have a square up that if they really wanted to, could they push this back? Whoops, sorry. Could they push this back down to the previous 19K high and find it there and then we rally? Yeah. But until we lose 30K, like, we're not concerned with that. We're just not. All right. You need to lose 30K convincingly. Until then, it's just not in the cards. Okay. Okay. So this price action, let's look at this on the daily, and hopefully this stayed all. Of course it didn't. Gosh, sorry. All my data got erased when I was gone because, I don't know, stupid trading view. So some of this I have to reset real quick. Sorry. Okay, so what we're doing here is we're going to look at this on the daily real quick, okay? And on the daily, we're going to see this structure that I'm going to show you on a different asset, and you're going to tell me what it looks like to you, okay? So this is Bitcoin on the daily, all right? And we basically, you know, it was a slightly lower low, which really was interesting, but either way, nothing. Hold on. Gosh, what is it doing? Okay. Copy pasta. All right. Okay, so we had this like double bottom structure, okay? And we're painting this big neckline here. See this? All right. And speaking of which, this is how Tesla looks. That's why we're going to stop dime out too. All right. So this like double bottoming structure, and we talked about this just now. We said sometimes it's a higher low, sometimes it's an equal low, and sometimes you get this little slightly lower low. Bukowski double bottom, there's 3 of them. This is the one with the lower low, right? Our least favorite, I'm not going to lie, but still, the follow through price action is going to be the telltale sign, okay? So we don't want to lose the lows. We could even put it down here, stop at 29, to be honest, to be a little more conservative until this gets away from us. But either way, that's not the point here. The point here is watch this structure, okay? And what's going to be interesting is this is the deep retrace that we have marked up here, okay? And this is a square up area, okay? So from the 4 hour. So this deep retrace, all right, that's only the 786 and the 886. If we really fib this, okay, from the all-time high to the current low, all right, if we take that fib, you see up here, we have this 618 up here at 87K. I know it sounds crazy, right? It really does. But let's just keep this in mind, right? Keep an open mind here. Okay, so we have this chart, paints you this structure. You have this nasty little double bottom accumulation. And then we're basically saying, what we're trying to say is that we're just going to get this pump, right? So now let's look at what just happened on AXSUSDT. We were watching this, me and the boys in the ATL this week. Okay. So look at this structure, okay? This one did give you the slightly higher low, okay? And we're getting this on some of the others. I think on ETH, and as we move along, you'll see this on others, okay? So Bitcoin is actually kind of an anomaly here, but either way, I feel like your price action is gonna be the same, okay? So double bottom, okay? Here's your neckline up here somewhere, right? Neckline back test, right? What was once resistance becomes support. And then you end up rallying into the deep retrace, right? And you get the 886 deep retrace, okay? Which is right here. You got this initial wick, right? Where price ran up from the 618 and it hit this deep retrace square up, and then it came all the way back down, right? And it back tested the 618, and then it rallied. Okay, so it regarded the deep retrace. That's why we have that box there on Bitcoin. Okay, but you ended up just completely sending it up here to the 1618. Do you see this? Look at this. 1618 was up here. You basically hit that. Okay, so this is exactly what we're looking for on the corn, okay? Parabolic price action targeting the 1618 golden mean ratio and then selling off, all right? I mean, I know that AXS is just a damn pump and dump, right? No, it's really not, dude. Look, what we just identified it. It's not a pump and dump. It's structure. You had bullish look at this divergence, right? This is convergence. It's not divergence, but still. Look at this. Paint a higher low and look at the negative momentum was almost non-existent, okay? Non-existent. Look at the RSI. Look at this RSI. Divergence down there, and not only that, but then you also keep painting. You see what I mean? This is the structure we're looking for on Bitcoin as well, okay? So just it really, I don't think this was at all a pump and dump. I just think this was exactly technical analysis, painting a dragon, double bottom, confirmation on the oscillators, neckline, breakout, back test, break hook, go. I mean, like, we could have, I don't know. I think that pump and dumps ride stuff when somebody gets, has an idea of what's going on. And I'm not even sure what this asset is. Again, we can cover up the ticker and we could just be looking at this from just a chart, right? And you can see that, like, it really, the ticker would have been irrelevant here. We painted this the same way. We painted this the same way that we just painted Bitcoin, right? So, like, we didn't have to even, like, think about, like, we'll go back to Bitcoin now and look back at it, right? Like, do you see it now? Like, now that I came back, right? Watch, let me go back and forth to that. Look at it and visualize it, and you can almost see what I'm gonna paint, right? Visualize it. All right, so let's do it. Let's look at this. You have this, like, downsloping trend line, right? Painting this, like, dragon-esque structure, right? We just painted this on the other asset, right? And you're gonna break out of the neckline. You're gonna back test it as support, and then you're gonna rally. You're gonna have a small retrace to the 618, and then you're gonna send it all the way to the 1618, and you're gonna melt everyone's face. All right. But then what's gonna happen up there when everyone thinks, oh, Bitcoin's going to 100K, and us, the bullishest group right now that's out there, is gonna say, sorry, we're gonna bring it right back down. Okay. So you better get what you can get when it's there, right? Because once it gets up there, it's gone. All right, and it's gone. Okay, you've seen that story too many times. All right, too many times. Probably gonna back test this neckline, to be honest. Let's be honest here, right? What do you think? Oh, fuck. I barely breathe. Oh my god. So, I would basically, I would, hopefully now that you kind of have this vision and this plan in mind, it'll help you, your mindset, to allow this position to play itself out, right? Allow this trade to carry, because you understand where your invalidation is, right? You're able to identify when you bail. And also, again, you're looking for a bail that looks like this, right? A back test and then sell off, right? That's your bail, all right? That's your, we need to go back to the drawing board. So I guess we can move on here, but hopefully that's good enough right now on the corn. Real quick, actually, while we're here. Yeah, see, I mean, oscillators are holding up pretty nice right now. We get one more small sell off here. We paint whatever we paint. That'll be probably hidden bullish divergence. Either way, this isn't going to do too much damage. Whatever this is, it's not going to do that much damage, okay? It's just not. I could already feel it. All right. Now, RSI. We'd like to see, we're probably going to lose this, right? We're going to break out of this, and that's how we're going to hit our completion zone. We're going to break out of this and fail here somewhere. All right, and somewhere here we will paint something on the RSI that's going to line up, right? But right now we don't have it. We don't have it yet. We need more data, right? It's too early to call. Why is it too early to call? Because this, going back to the 4 hour here, this could chop around in this zone right here. You see this chop right here? This could be some more chop, all right? This could take some time here to develop. Again, just continuing to get people to second guess themselves as it lingers so close to 30K, right? So look, what are we talking about here? Not a ton, but you know, we're talking about potentially a week, right? That could be a week of before a breakout and back test, right? And even that, you're still, that back test is 32.5. That's, you're not even at that yet. You see what I mean? Like, this hasn't even started. If we're talking 87, we're still at 32.5 here. Nothing has even happened yet. Okay, super early. Look at this. In the grand scheme of things, our little box that we just painted down there in blue, like you don't even see it anymore, right? Like it's so irrelevant down here that 1 week of chop in this grand scheme of things here, it's 1% of the move, right? It's 1% of the time in the 100% of duration that this could take, right? It's nothing, right? And we don't even know duration, but that's what I'm trying to tell you is patience is going to be rewarded here, not the impatient. What's the opposite of patient? Autistic? I don't know. Okay, so just accumulate your position and live your life. All right. All right. Russian Ethereum. Thank you to the Russians for making this Ethereum. It's gonna, you know, honestly probably save us in the long run here. Okay, stop loss on 31,550 longs is 29. Ethereum's probably gonna do something like this. Okay, paint a double bottom right here in this zone, right? Again, we're looking for these completion area zones overlapping price action, right? We have a big cipher and we have a butterfly coinciding into this zone, right? And that zone is between 1850 and 1900. You're sitting at just below 21 right now. You've breached 21. You're now into the 20,000 back in whatever you want to call that. Below 2100. All right, so look, we want this to come down in here as Bitcoin hits 31,550, brings everything with it, and you get this, double bottom price action here at the bottom of this, just again, big range of sidewaysness, right? That we've been painting on everything. Okay, so you have just this big range, right? Big range. So we're gonna paint a higher low finally. Not finally, but I guess another one. So we had this big low down here, right? And now we're looking to paint this higher low over here. All right, so paint the higher low. Don't lose the range low. Don't lose the bottom of the range, right? Same thing on Bitcoin. Don't lose the range low. What would that be? Probably 17 even. You really don't want to lose 17. So stop around like 1675. Something in that area. You don't want to see that on ETH. You don't want to lose the 17 low on ETH. You're at 1840, okay? If you get this fill, again, you'd be completing these harmonics, and then you'd be looking to push up towards the range midpoint again, right? Testing these harmonic highs. Makes sense? That range midpoint is sitting around 2350, 2340, 2350 area, okay? So you come back up and you get to this range midpoint, and then you need to reclaim it before you can make your way up to the next, range high, right? So again, just like Bitcoin, one step at a time. But eventually, just like Bitcoin, if you can find yourself, breaking above this, again, it's very likely that you do this, right on top of the range. Very, very likely that we see that happen at some point, okay? Very likely. Another thing we've really been watching on Russian Ethereum is just this big downsloping trend line, right? We've just never really broken out of it convincingly. It seemed like we almost were going to do it here, but again, it failed back in. So that's going to be huge as a back test, or as a breakout of the downsloping trend line and the range midpoint. All right, that's been our story. That was our story right here. You hit those at the same point, right where they coincided. You smacked it and rejected. Okay, so that was very interesting to see. So we need to paint another low, accumulate again, and then maybe this time, something like this happens. I don't know. We'll have to keep this in mind, because we've been watching this downsloping trend line that's built itself some nice touch points up high, right? Previously, from May 26th to June 3rd, June 7th, right? So let's see how that plays out for the Russians and Ethereum. Okay. Moving along to Litecoin. Again, dual harmonics, painting at a completion zone area around 115. So between 110 and 120, basically, you can layer in a $10 zone and build yourself along, right? Okay. Build yourself along, place a stop somewhere below. Really, you don't want to lose 100. That's pretty good psychological level there. Put a stop at $100, 99.99, whatever you want to do. Um, Litecoin also has a similar downsloping trend line here where uh, if and when you break out of this finally, right? Something like this, whatever you want to call it. Um, that should be a pretty convincing move for price, right? When you can bounce in here and break out of this, maybe you back test it a little bit, but really, that's going to be pretty critical, pretty huge breakout for Litecoin as well. They should all kind of happen at the same time, right? So, you know, you get this breakout, and then you make your way to this range midpoint, and then find yourself at the range high, and then continue, right? Same story, different ticker. Same story, different ticker. All of these, even going back into Russian Ethereum, you know, all of these are going to have much, much, much higher targets here. Just like on Bitcoin, if we get this to remain bullish, money printers going burr, libs fucking shit up, you know, maybe this will stay bullish. 1618 up here on ETH is 60,000. Okay. Not 60,000, 6,000. Excuse me. Jeez. I was talking about Bitcoin just a second ago. Okay, but also you're going to have some pretty significant stuff going on at the 1272 and at the 1414, right? We got to kind of keep those somewhat in mind there, which is 51, 55, and then 6, right? So those are going to be some interesting levels up and overhead, okay? Ideally, the one we're really looking for is the 6,000, right? The top one, right? We want to see the top one, right? We don't want to see this bottom one. We don't want to see this guy. So if somebody were to have the balls to take a trade like this, your stop would look like this. It would look like nothing. And I mean, 200%. You got the balls, Anon? Do you? Do you have the mindset to make that trade? Do you? Asking you right now. You got it in you? Test yourself. Test yourself. It'll reward handsomely if you can pull it off. And again, you got a very easy invalidation. But the spot trader, okay, he could afford a stop 3 to 1. 3 to 1. Okay. The spot trader, the institution, trades it like this, okay? So, duck, bring magic 8 ball. Okay. Will do. The institution, I believe, would trade it spot 3 to 1, just like this. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they would have a tight stop. Maybe they trade it back like the Chad move right there, right? But either way, you know what we're after, okay? We're after more on this one, okay? So, Magic 8 Ball, we have a request for your assistance. Chime in, ping the Russians for us. Are we gonna get a pump from the Russians on Ethereum? 8 Ball's still bullish, bro. I mean, same thing. 8 Ball's like, look, man, we haven't broke shit for support. Is still there. We haven't broke shit. Until we break it, like, it's ape season. That's it. So, I don't know. I guess 8 Ball remains bullish. The duck remains bullish. The Russians remain bullish. Up it goes. Up it goes. I see a lot of people on Twitter crying today anyways, so it makes sense. It all adds up. Coinciding variables. Ducks, Russians, and 8 Balls. It all adds up. All right, what a fucking market. What a shit show. Who's driving this boat? All right. Litecoin, we kind of talked about this. Same thing though. Let's paint that. What we didn't talk about was where we're going, right? So similar to the Russian Ethereum, we just simply fib from high to low. And if Charlie Lee buys in this week, this might go to 600. Does that make sense? Ethereum 6,000, Litecoin 600. Do we have an overlapping coincidingness? ETH equals 6,000. LTC equals 600. What are we thinking there? I think it's interesting to say the least. Something to kind of note, right? Kind of makes sense. Interesting overlap, right? Can we take a look at Ave? Sure, cowboy. Yeah, interesting set of events there where both 1618 golden mean ratios overlapped, kind of similar numbers, right? Okay, let's move along here. OMG, you're back testing a neckline here. If you lose this, it's not the end of the world here, because we're painting a larger stuff here, higher time frame stuff. So you're gonna have a couple overlaps. So first one being local low, X, A, B, C. This is cipher 786. Okay, so cipher will go first, 786, and then you'll probably end up painting also a larger, could be just a larger cipher. It really almost is. Okay. All right, there you go. From 328 to 350 is the buy zone on OMG. All right, you'll have like coinciding ciphers. That's what it looks like they're doing. So either one of them, right? You could kind of just follow one here first, and if this one fails, just look to the next one. It's just overlapping areas where you're fibbing from coinciding local, from low to high, right? And you have 2 points, so you just take both of them and you overlap them and see where that lands, right? That's all we did there. And anyways, you're kind of already bullish from larger time frame structure here. Okay, so you're just reaccumulating here. Paint a higher low even, right? So you had these initial lows here that we just even fibbed from. So you're just gonna paint another one, right? Paint another one over here. Low, higher low, higher low, send it. Okay, so accumulate here. We'll go green, and you're gonna have stop below the low here. Stop at like below $3, and you're gonna buy in between 3.25 and 357. Okay, and stop below 3. Okay, target much higher prices, $7, $8, $9, much higher prices. Okay, so that's OMG for now. We will continue along. AVAX, you're about to lose this little wedge here, or upsloping parallel channel, excuse me. You're about to lose her. Okay, so what happens here? Nothing too big if you do. You'd like to still just make sure you don't lose these lows, right? You're not really concerned with these shit coins, right? You're watching you're watching Bitcoin and Ethereum. If Bitcoin, loses 30, that's when you need to get out of these shit coins, right? So you're really, the macro is what you're concerned with for your exit point. You're not really too concerned at watching these individually, right? You just enter here and then watch back over here, okay? And this is when you bail, because it's very rare that one of these is gonna just take off on its own and just completely disintegrate, unless it's a rug. But we're not, again, we don't deal with that as much as people trading these crazy assets. We're trading top 20, top 30. I don't even know where these rank anymore. I don't look at it like that, but I'm just picturing that they are. We're trading stuff with, high market cap stuff, right? The odds of rugging us is pretty slim compared to other things. I'm not saying don't have a stop. I'm just saying you're looking to turn bearish and exit your longs when the macro structure is kind of turning on you, right? If Bitcoin's going to go up, the shitcoins are going to go up even harder, okay? So that's what you're using them for. Or you can just leverage Bitcoin, but that's bad. Don't do that. But again, these shitcoins, we don't care about the fundamentals of the product, okay? So we're not doing it for that. What are we doing it for then? We're simply doing it because you feel that the performance on OMG is going to give you higher gains than Bitcoin. There's no other reason, okay? So if that's going to be the case, you just simply accumulate at the same time, build a portfolio, and they print at different times, right? That's the only reason, really. OMG might go up, and then a couple hours or the next day, Litecoin's pumping. So like you've exited on OMG, hit a target, you've moved money to things that haven't pumped yet, like Litecoin. Now it pumps. You're just giving yourself more than one opportunity within the same opportunity. But ultimately, you just are doing it because you feel like your position in the shitcoin is going to be able to outperform your position in Bitcoin holdings. Otherwise, you would simply just be layering into Bitcoin, and we're wasting our time charting OMG, right? No one cares for the fundamentals. Nobody knows what OMG does. And even if they do, I don't care, right? So, I don't know. Hope that makes sense. But when these are going down, they also go down much harder, right? Bitcoin's only down 3.7% on the day. OMG's down 10.7. So that's what I'm trying to say. They're just leveraged ETFs of Bitcoin. That's what a shitcoin is. All right. Moving along. AVAX, again, about to lose a trend line. Whatever. Let's be concerned with where we are on Bitcoin. Too high for a harmonic. So we're just going to have to paint something else here. Maybe it's the low time frame one. I don't even think so. Too high for a harmonic. Yeah, I got nothing there for you. You're just going to have to get more data here. But look, you got a larger, bigger picture structure here going on. So all you need to do is maintain the larger harmonic here, and you're actually fine, okay? You already have structure you're working with, okay? You don't need more necessarily. All right. So this one doesn't look as good as others, I'm gonna be honest. FTM, this one, look at the difference. AVAX, much lower low. FTM, see the harmonic. Gartley, bat-esque, higher low. Okay, this one does, I would rather be here than the previous if I was to allocate my assets to just one. But again, you could diversify into each one. This one, FTM, may pump before AVAX, right? AVAX may trail here. Either way, this is just simply giving you an opportunity to enter. Okay, it's gonna paint. If it fails from this channel, it's gonna paint another low here, giving you an entry. All right, just you're looking to build positions here because you're trying to you're about to enter on Bitcoin. Okay, like look where we are. We're selling off right into the zone. Okay, so if Bitcoin is getting ready to reverse here, right, you are too. All right, Bitcoin is the signal here. So look where we are here, about to dump into this zone, right? You don't have much time left. That's not very much percent. It's 3%. Okay, you have 3% move from entry. All right, it's basically time. Ring the bell, alert, build a position. Okay, XLM, lumens, stellar lumens, there you go. About to enter. This looks much better than the previous two. All right, so you have a cipher, you have a 618 B, 114 on the C, you have a 786 on the D cipher. Send it from here. Okay, this is going to also coincide with this larger butterfly. Okay, so you have a butterfly and a cipher, and look, that's right where that completion zone of that butterfly was too. So excuse me, so again, this is just ready for you to accumulate your position at the lows, and you're going to target much higher prices. Okay, we're going to be targeting like 65 cents here really soon. All right, so you know, we have other things to do first. We have the top of this, you know, to hit as well, right? But either way, like we're this is the bottom in our opinion at this point. Okay, stop losses would be below the X of the harmonic here. So 20 cents, you don't want to lose 20 cents. You're targeting 45, 50, 60, 65, right? And you don't want to lose 20, all right? That is XLM. AAVE. This one's already sent pretty nice already. Look off the lows, all right? So when you paint another low here, this is just going to paint a higher low, and it's probably going to paint hidden bullish divergence from the lows over. You're going to paint hidden bullish divergence. Okay, so let's sell off into a completion zone here and paint the higher low. We already have a Gartley. We already have a butterfly. This was a shark. Okay, so if that was a shark, you got a 618 more than you did a 50, but it's almost selling off like a 50 would. Let the 50 sell off into the divergence. As long as this paints a higher low than down here, this is gonna paint hidden bullish divergence at some point. Okay, it might even be up higher, right? This might even paint it higher because it might be more bullish than we think. Okay, anything like this is going to be in play. See what I'm getting at here? Anything like this, Jesus, stupid mouse. Anything like this, all right? Just that's where you would enter on AVE, right? The structure's already there. We're targeting much higher prices. Okay. Magic 8 Ball. How are we looking on AVE, sir? We're gonna make it. We're gonna make it, cowboy. Get back in there. Saddle up. Linky Poo. Same thing. Nothing to worry about. Paint a double bottom in the completion zone. Layer in 15 to 1750. Just get in there. Get in there. Stop below the X. Okay, stops below 15, like 1470. Layer in from 16 to right now. Just build a position in the next 24 to 72 hours. you just start layering in. Okay. On another note, most of the stonk market is down except for our baby IDEX here, right? IDEConomics, right? This is basically what you're just looking at on Link, okay? So you have these lows, right? And it's like just paint a higher low. Just continue to paint a higher low. And what did it do? Slightly higher low, engulfing, okay? So next on this IDEConomics, we want this neckline tested, right? This neckline somewhere here. We want to test it, break it, back test it, break hook and go, okay? So you're going to get some of this action real soon, okay? On both IDEConomics, IDEX, IDEX, and Bitcoin, and Russian Ethereum, and Litecoin, and all this other XLM, everything. Pump it, send it, okay? All right, fellas. So I know I just got back last night, but I'm leaving at like 4 a.m. to Hawaii. So I will be on the beach for like another week, drinking some coconuts. Yeah, I'll send some pics, but static charts for another few days. Sorry, but again, you don't need me. You know the plan. Just execute it. It's gonna chop while I'm gone, anyways. Just fill your position, okay? Long and strong. Don't lose 30, okay? Yeah, I'm gonna go to a luau. I'm gonna eat that buried pork. Some of that pineapple on that pork. Not on that pizza though. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed the stream and you have a game plan here. Fill your longs and then watch them print. Okay. All right, boys. Stay up. All right. Take care. Duck out. Peace.